Hot Springs Village Inside Out is a closer look at the greatness of Hot Springs Village, Arkansas, and the surrounding areas. People, places, experiences. Hot Springs Village is one of the most beautiful places on earth. Join me, Randy Cantrell, and my co-host Dennis Simpson as we engage in weekly conversations to explore Hot Springs Village Inside Out. Today's show is brought to you by Central Arkansas's favorite radio station, KVRE. Find them on the dial at 92.9 FM. Stream them live at kvre.com. RE/MAX of Hot Springs Village. The award-winning RE/MAX of Hot Springs Village is the largest real estate office inside the village with over 30 full-time agents and support staff. Visit them to learn more about this beautiful place to solve your real estate needs. Call them today at 1-800-364-9007. Find them online at explorehsv.com. They are RE/MAX of Hot Springs Village at 1-800-364-9007 or online at explorehsv.com. Ike Eisenhower State Farm. Ike and his award-winning team have been serving the insurance needs of folks all around Hot Springs Village since 1998. Ike has qualified for State Farm's President's Club, Chairman's Circle, and Hot Springs Village Insurance Agent of the Year. Call Ike Eisenhower State Farm today at 501-984-4100. That's 501-984-4100. Find them online at ikeeisenhower.net. Call them today for all your insurance needs because, like a good neighbor, Ike Eisenhower State Farm is there. You ask, we answer. Well, we'll try to. We want you to send us your specific questions so that we can answer them. Let me give you the context. This podcast began because of one simple thing, my curiosity. Hi, I'm Randy Cantrell, co-host of Hot Springs Village Inside Out with Dennis Simpson. I discovered Hot Springs Village, Arkansas in September of 2018 when Rhonda, my wife, and I first visited. We booked an Airbnb inside the village some months earlier, having never heard of Hot Springs Village, Arkansas. I wanted to find someplace within a 6-hour drive of Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas, which has been home for us for over 35 years. Well, my wife is from there, so longer for her. The Ozarks have long been a favorite place of ours. Not Branson, but prowling around the trails around Table Rock Lake. A Big Cedar Lodge cabins, they were always a preferred stay. Problem, from the DFW area, it's a 7-hour plus drive, depending on traffic. That led me to Google around for some place that we could go that had hills and big trees and trails and lakes and, you know, the kind of nature that we loved up in the Ozarks. And eventually I stumbled onto Hot Springs Village, Arkansas, but I was confused. I'd heard of Hot Springs, Arkansas, but I had never heard of Hot Springs Village. And I knew enough about Hot Springs. I was not interested because, well, I knew it was touristy. And I wasn't looking for touristy. We weren't interested in leaving DFW for a trip to find things to do. We just wanted to relax and walk trails and deepen our connection with each other. We had celebrated that year our 40th wedding anniversary in January. So again, this is 2018. Well, I read up on Hot Springs Village before I jumped over onto Airbnb to see, okay, what kind of accommodations might we be able to get? Wait a minute, what? It's a gated community. It's a POA, whatever that is. It's 26,000 acres. I mean, there are multiple golf courses. There are multiple lakes. We don't golf. We don't do lake stuff, but we enjoy looking at golf courses. We enjoy looking at lakes. And so I decided to go onto Airbnb, and I booked a basement bedroom suite that was separate from the owner's residence. It was a queen-size suite with a bathroom, and it was on one of the many lakes inside the village, Lake DeSoto, which meant nothing to me. But it looked It looked perfectly lovely, and we booked it, I think, for 4 nights. So September of 2018 arrives, and we're off. We're off to Arkansas. Our first real visit to the state since we had been married. We did have some church friends over in Little Rock, but neither of us had spent much time in Arkansas as adults. Both of us had been there with our families when we were growing up. And so we were familiar enough with the state because, well, Rhonda grew up in Texas, and I grew up in Oklahoma and Texas and Louisiana, which is where we first lived when we got married. So we're both people from this neck of the woods. We arrive and we walked miles of trails during that first visit. We spent hours in conversation, navigating the various challenges and opportunities of our life together. We ogled the trees and the hills and the lakes and the golf courses, and a few of them. We enjoyed the quiet. We enjoyed the peace. We enjoyed the dark night sky. We enjoyed the wildlife that we saw. We enjoyed a few local eateries. And we enjoyed nearby Lake Ouachita State Park. We took that trail, which is, I don't know what it was, 3 miles or more. And we were not prepared for that, but we ventured out and we made it. I wondered if we would, but we did. And along the way in this trip, we had formed far more questions than we ever had before we arrived. I didn't have any idea about this place. And we had just spent 4 or 5 days here, and I didn't have a clue. All I knew is that I needed to find out more, and I knew I wanted to come back again. Mostly, I wondered, why have I never heard of this place, and why aren't more people visiting? And thoughts of one day living here never crossed my mind. That would happen a couple of years later. But first, there was another idea that did cross my mind almost immediately after we got back home to DFW. As we entered 2000, the year 2000, so we're going back 18 years earlier, I was podcasting. It wasn't even called podcasting yet. Most of us referred to it as audio journaling, and that was only because blogging was not yet blogging. Blogging was called journaling. And I had put my first audio file online on the internet in 1999. Audio has always played a real prominent role in my life, first because of my love for music, then for my love of the gear that was required to play my favorite records. And so by the time I was 15 or so, I was working at a local stereo shop selling speakers and receivers and amps and preamps and turntables. That was over 50 years ago, and few things have changed when it comes to my passion for audio, except, well, now I've added video to the passion. Dennis Simpson had been our Airbnb host in 2018. I did not know Dennis at all. I knew I needed a resident inside Hot Springs Village who could help answer my questions, and so I trolled the internet, and it seemed fairly clear to me that Dennis might be my guy to co-host this podcast that I had in mind. Before reaching out to him, I had pages and pages of notes. I had pages and pages of questions, and I had already purchased the domain name hotspringsvillageinsideout.com. I had a real clear vision of what I wanted the podcast to be and to become, and frankly, I still do. I emailed Dennis. I invited him to join me on a Zoom call, and it took a while to connect, but we finally did connect. I heard back from him, and we scheduled this Zoom call. Within 5 minutes, I had just briefly explained what I wanted to do and why, and my why was twofold. A, to satisfy my curiosity, and B, to shine a positive light on this place that had, well, stolen my heart. And at the time, there were a few social media ninnies, well, just like there are now, who were shouting insult after insult about the place, and it just didn't make any sense to me. And within 5 minutes, Dennis agreed, yeah, I'm in. June of 2021, we launched, and that was 1,028 days ago. And now that you know the backstory, I have a request of you. I want you to join me on my quest to satisfy my curiosity about Hot Springs Village, Arkansas. Now, many of you in our audience have never been to Hot Springs Village before. Many of you do not currently live in the village. And we know this because we hear from you. And we surmise that most of you don't yet live in the village. Some of you are interested in visiting to enjoy the golf and the lakes and the peace. Some of you have already decided that you would like to make the village your home, some sooner, some later. And so you are exploring land and houses and cost, and you're trying to figure this out. Some of you, like me, you have a home here now, but you are still armed with questions because, well, living here is unlike any other place that you've ever lived before. Mostly in all of the best ways, but our beloved village is not perfect. It is ideal for most of us who choose to be here. Now, many of you are at a stage in life where you're navigating what the encore chapter of your life might look like. Retirement, reducing your workload, reducing the stress of living maybe in a metropolitan area, all of the above, trying to figure out your finances. Hot Springs Village Inside Out is aimed at helping you figure it out. And rather than me and Dennis trying to guess what your questions are, what they might be, we would rather know specifically what questions do you have so that we can prepare shows that can help answer those questions. In the coming weeks and months, Dennis and I are going to up our game, and we're going to do that because you deserve it. We're also going to do it because the place deserves it. You know, many of you have been with us from the beginning, but recently we have experienced some strong growth, and that's only due to the fact that our subject matter is terrific. It's not because Dennis and I are any kind of talent. We joke with one another over that word. It's all about Hot Springs Village, Arkansas, and we just hope to do it more justice, greater justice in the future. So let me end by thanking you for watching and listening to our show. We appreciate all of you. I'm going to put a link in the show notes for today's episode, so just go to the website and you'll be able to find the contact form where you can submit your questions to us. We're going to take all of these very seriously, and we're going to do our best to give the best answers we can to the questions that you ask. So please, please, please submit your questions, and we'll start teeing these things up, and we'll get busy trying to serve you better and better. We appreciate you. Thanks for watching and listening to Hot Springs Village Inside Out, a weekly podcast starring Hot Springs Village, Arkansas. Visit the website at hotspringsvillageinsideout.com.